We are Blackmore. We are Sunforce.
Pitching has been the story the first two nights at Fenway Park, with the Rays taking game one behind 7 strong innings from Jake Odorizzi. Last night, Red Sox right-hander Rick Porcello outdueled lefty Drew Smyly, leading Boston to a 2-0 win. Tonight, Alex Colomé goes to the hill in the rubber game versus the Red Sox. Welcome to the Wednesday Night Showdown, brought to you by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. We have a beautiful night for baseball in Boston as we greet you from Fenway Park. Game 3 of this series between the Tampa Bay Rays and the Boston Red Sox. Hi again, everyone, and welcome to an evening of Rays baseball with Brian Anderson, Dwayne Stats. Great to have you aboard. Well, as we know, it's always fun when these two teams get together, and in this series we have continued to see the emergence of two young center fielders. Mookie Betts single-handedly won the game last night for the Red Sox, and Kevin Kiermaier continues to be outstanding for the Rays.
Yeah, Mookie last night, both offensively and defensively, getting it done in a big way. Of course, he would lead the Red Sox to victory with the home runs. This coming in the 6th off Drew Smyly, the first hit that Drew had given up. And then just for some added insurance, how about getting Ernesto Frieri in the 8th inning? Also, this guy can play some defense. You're going to see him right here. Rob Bryce Harper of the Washington Nationals. He was also part of that double play in last night's game where he was able to get Evan Longoria at second base in the 4th inning. But on the flip side, the Rays, they get a pretty good center fielder too. One that has shown some surprising pop. You see him right there, tied for the Rays lead with 11 extra base hits. But he's getting an opportunity right now at the top of the Rays order because of the pressure that he puts on an opposing defense. As you see right here, the ability to take the extra base and make things happen with his feet is why he's at the top of the order. And guess what? He can play some defense too, and we saw that last night. Poppy Ortiz saw that last night. Two versatile, dynamic center fielders on full display in this series.
There's Kevin Kiermaier loosening, preparing for the final game of this series. Pitching tonight, the Rays will have Alex Colomé against Justin Masterson. And last night, Evan Longoria, who's gotten so many hits for the Rays throughout his career, got one for his own personal trophy case. Todd Callis has more on that.
Devil Rays history who have amassed 1,000 career hits as a member of this franchise. Evan Longoria last night put his name into the record books. Here's Longo, who already owns the all-time mark in team history for home runs, RBIs, extra base hits, doubles. Well, last night in the fourth inning against Rick Porcello, this single gave him 1,000 in his career as they tossed the ball into the Rays dugout. So Longoria will join Carl Crawford, the all-time hits leader in Tampa Bay Rays history, along with Ben Zobrist. Longoria just 16 shy of Zoe. Afterwards, Evan mentioned what it meant to him to reach that number.
When you come into the game, you just imagine having a long career and you know, being able to contribute to a team and don't really think about the personal stuff, but it's pretty cool. You know, I haven't even looked at the list of people and names and stuff, but you know, it's not necessarily a short list, but it's a pretty cool accomplishment.
And it is a Wednesday night, as we mentioned, which means it's a Web Wednesday. You can ask the announcers anything you like through Twitter at SunSportsRays with the hashtag AskRays, or email your questions to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. Dwayne Stats and Brian Anderson with the answers and with all the game action right around the corner. Rubber game of a 3-game series. Justin Masterson for the Red Sox, Alex Colomé for the Rays. Enjoy all the action in 2 minutes and 30 seconds right here on SunSports.
Wrap-up game of the series. Rays and the Red Sox. Two right-handers go at it. Justin Masterson and Alex Colomé. We'll take a look at the starting lineup presented by your Southern Ford dealers. Kevin Kiermaier again leads off, followed by Logan Forsythe and James Loney. Longoria de Jesus, the DH, and Butler in left. Down the middle, Cabrera, Geyer, and Rivera. Line them up against the Boston right-hander. Masterson all set. First pitch of this game presented by Pinch-A-Penny. We're underway. Pitch a bit wide 1 ball, no strikes. 1-1.
Justin Masterson has been very good his last 3 starts. You can see on the season 2-0, 4-7-1. Last 3 starts 1-0 with a 3.00.
Kiermaier hitting .275. He made that outstanding catch last night on the drive hit by David Ortiz. 2-2 now. Led off the ball game last night with a base hit. And he works a full count on Masterson.
I like the fact that he's just in the leadoff spot for what he brings as far as his speed, pressure on a defense.
Fouls it back. Well, he's a leadoff guy with some pop.
That's exactly right. We've seen some. He's got a couple of home runs this year, but we've seen some big ones. Center field. You go out of center field just about anywhere, you've got some zip.
A foul ball. He's accumulated 7 doubles. He's run himself into a number of those doubles, a couple triples as well to go with the 2 home runs. So he gives a pitcher more than just one dimension up there at the plate to lead off, and he draws the walk and heads to first.
Well, let's take a quick look at the Red Sox defense as it lines up tonight behind Justin Masterson. In the outfield left to right, we have Alan Craig, Mookie Betts, and Brock Holt. Across the infield, third to first, Pablo Sandoval, Xander Bogaerts, Dustin Pedroia, and Mike Napoli. Blake Swihart back behind the plate. Well, I'll tell you what, the couple of areas that he can improve on as a leadoff hitter, we saw one of them right there, taking a few more walks.
The strike to Logan Forsythe up in the number 2 spot.
And I think he'll continue to learn. He's a good base runner, not yet a prolific base stealer. With his speed, he could be, but you got to learn technique, jumps.
Now the walk here, his 4th of the year. 0-2 the count on Forsythe. And I think if he were in that leadoff spot a little more, you might find him walking a little bit more.
Well, that's what the hope is, because you can get him on base. Pitchers have to pay attention to him. And he's one of those guys, you think that he gets a good jump out of the box and able to turn a single into a double. Think about him on first base with a good secondary lead. I mean, he can score, first to third, first to home on, even a base hit out into the gap.
Yeah, and I think that's a big part of what Kevin Cash has in mind when he tweaked this lineup for this series. He's going, and the throw will not be in time, but he lost the bag. And Pedroia puts the tag on him.
And he did. He slid. I mean, he had that bag swiped pretty easily. A good jump and a good pitch to run on. A breaking ball that was off the plate. But much like we saw Logan Forsythe at third base at Tropicana Field, that momentum takes him right off the bag. Easy play there for Pedroia. They try to hook that bag with that back foot.
And now Forsythe is hit by a pitch, and that's something that happens a lot with Masterson out there. In fact, last year he uncorked 14 wild pitches and he hit 15 hitters.
Do you see how he kind of drops his arm angle? He's a sidewinder pitcher. He's not your typical drop and drive towards home plate. That front side swings, and if it swings too early, that arm stays wide. Pitch comes out, instead of a guy missing arm side high, he typically misses arm side into a right-handed batter's shoulder.
Pitch to James Loney is a strike. Loney at 250 with a couple home runs. Ground ball for Pedroia. Out at second and out at first on the 4-6-3. And the Rays are finished in their first. No score. presented by your Southern Ford dealers. And Mookie Betts will lead it off again for John Farrell's team. Dustin Pedroia and then David Ortiz, the DH. Mike Napoli, Pablo Sandoval, and Alan Craig 4, 5, and 6 with Brock Holt in right. Xander Bogaerts in short hitting 8. And the catcher, Blake Swihart, bats 9.
So looking to build off of his last start will be right-hander Alex Colomé. Nothing short of sensational for 5 innings of work on 60 pitches, 12 pitches an inning on average, 6 strikeouts, no walks. He gave up those 3 hits. They're all singles.
He was about as dominant, not only as we've ever seen him, he was about as dominant as anybody you're going to see out there on the mound in that outing. So it's interesting to see if he can continue that tonight here in Boston. First pitch to Betts is a fastball, well located, strike 1.
That was the difference in that first start. He took his very good stuff and he had excellent command.
Strike 2.
I mean, those 2 fastballs to start off this at bat, you just cannot put them in a better spot. This is a carbon copy. Literally.
It's a ball and 2 strikes.
That has always been the knock on Colomé. Great arm, suspect command. Well, it's gotten better every single year, and that first start was as good as we've ever seen.
2-2. Well, a strong arm. And for a slider, high octane slider, upper 80, sometimes 90 with that pitch. He can consistently be in the mid 90s with his fastball. And we saw some off speed stuff in the mix. Now a full count to Betts.
That has to be so much fun. You know, when I threw, I was a command guy. I was going to pitch 87 to 89. I may touch 90 every now and then. If I could go, I've had this asked before. If I had a wish, it would be to take out the elite stuff and keep my command. How fun would that be to throw 95, 97 and put the ball where you want it all the time?
Yeah, you'd want to pitch every day. Line drive into left. Butler's right there. Joey Butler in left field takes care of Betts.
A little bit of a change out there in left field for the Rays in this series. As we take a look at their defense, Joey Butler will get the start out there. Then Kiermaier and Geyer cross that infield, third to first. Pretty standard look. Longoria, Cabrera, Forsythe, and Loney, and Rivera behind the plate.
Kevin Cash came into this series looking to give Steven Souza Jr. a day off. This is it.
And the only reason that you even raised an eyebrow is because of the work that David DeJesus did in left field the first 2 games of this series, where he really put on a tutorial on how you play left field at Fenway Park. He was outstanding.
And Pedroia did not offer. It's 1-1. And the Rays have Geyer in right. They like his range. You need somebody who can cover some ground in right field here. So he's out there. And again, a check by Pedroia, says Mike DeMuro.
Well, you see where it's 380. You know, that's not too far away from the pesky pole. That's how quickly it jumps out there. And then, of course, out to 420, where we saw Kiermaier make the catch last night. So there's a ton of room in right center field here, kind of like left center field at Yankee Stadium.
Tapper halfway to the mound. Colomé with a lot of time throws a strike to first. He's even throwing strikes to first base these days.
Which is newsworthy, because some pitchers we see, hey, listen, that's an adventure all on its own. But nice play by Colomé to pick up the second out and bring this man to the plate here with nobody on base.
Tonight's GMC big matchup. And we know what Ortiz has done through the years. Well, the Rays have held him in check so far this season, along with Pablo Sandoval. He's just 2 for 20. He's hitting 5th tonight in the lineup. Ortiz in that usual 3rd spot.
5 for 39. You control those guys, well, you control Boston's offense, and for the most part, they've done just that.
Ortiz takes the ball. Now 2-0. Ground ball into short right. The shift placing Forsythe there, and he throws it away. That'll be chased by Rivera. And after all that chase, Ortiz is still at first.
How? They just zero hustle there out of David Ortiz, because not only was this throw missed, Logan just misses the throw, but then just follow it. Follow the throw. It rolls all the way down behind the pitcher's mound as David Ortiz looks on.
Yeah, the ball actually got by Rivera. He found himself chasing it.
He chased it all the way behind home plate, starting to go around towards the Rays dugout.
So the first error of the year charged to Forsythe. Now here's Mike Napoli. He taps one, charged by Longoria. He scoops and throws to retire the side. So it only cost Colomé one extra pitch. No score at the end of one. To you by Toyota. Let's go places. By Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo Spark, the most affordable watercraft on the water, starting at only $49.99 or as low as $79 a month. And by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. Evan Longoria chops the first pitch to third. Sandoval's throw is right on the money to Napoli. So one pitch, one out in the second inning for Justin Masterson.
He's another one of these Boston starters that wants to get the ball on the ground, wants to use the infielders. A very high career ground ball, fly ball ratio.
Yeah, and that first inning was sort of typical of his approach to the game. He walks a guy, hits a man, throws a double play ball. Here's David DeJesus. No ball, no strikes. The Rays have won 7 of 9 decisions when it comes to Justin Masterson. He's 2-7 with a .683 lifetime ERA against the Rays.
And if you take out his bullpen stints against the Rays and make him just a starter, that ERA peaks up over 7.
It's a strike. It's 2-1. See, there's the career 10 start numbers at 7.07, 2-6, and overall 2-6 as a starter and 2-7 overall.
Well, and this year it's been damage early against Masterson. You know, when you look at his pitch breakout, pitches 1 through 45, a 309 average with 9 extra base hits against him. Pitches 46 and up, a 182 average with just 1 extra base hit. So get to him early.
Liner and a base hit into left center field. DeJesus will make the turn and decide to hang on. A big turn at first. And a 1-out single for him here in the second inning.
Well, David DeJesus, you know, so often you watch him during batting practice and he is always working the ball the other way. And just like that, did it a lot today, and probably for this reason. He knows he's facing a sinker baller who's going to keep the ball away from him, and he pops it out into left center.
You know, we were talking the other night off the air about his approach, and you watched him in the batting cage underneath the stands adjacent to the clubhouse at Yankee Stadium and his approach.
Well, yeah, and you can use this as a teaching tool and to talk about David DeJesus, and my son being one of them. Doesn't like to hit on a tee. He's too big for that. No tees. I'm going to tell you something. Went down there into the bowels of Yankee Stadium.
Butler back to the mound, and a double play again. This one 1-4-3. We'll get back to that because it's good advice for young players and certainly major leaguers alike. Another double play, no score. No score, bottom of the second. The David DeJesus approach to hitting is one I think that all young hitters could benefit from watching.
Well, and it goes back to number one, don't think that you're ever too old to hit off of a tee, because like I was saying, you go down into the bowels of Yankee Stadium, go back to the batting cage, and there's Derek Shelton, a few other hitters back there. And David DeJesus, for the 10 minutes I'm down there talking to these guys, is working on that stroke right there. He's got a tee set up deeper into his swing path on the outer half of the plate. And while Derek Shelton is just feeding this tee. He's hitting what would be line drives right over the shortstop's head, time and time. I mean, just practicing that swing, the swing mechanics, something you can't always do during BP.
Well, it goes to muscle memory.
Yes, that's exactly what it does. You train your swing there, then you go out and you put it into play during BP, and then eventually the game. But these big leaguers hit off the tee more than you would ever think. And you think that that's something that you're done with when you're 7 or 8 years old. You got guys up here playing in the big leagues at Fenway Park that are doing it every single day, and it leads to swings like that. And that's exactly what he was working on in New York.
Yeah, that doesn't happen by accident. It happenstance. There's some work that goes in, some preparation ahead of that. And that was a great example of what has kept David DeJesus in the major leagues and given him this lengthy career. He knows what he's doing. Sandoval up here leading off with a count of 1-2. Pablo Sandoval, the third baseman. Alan Craig next, and then Brock Holt. A cut and a foul ball, apparently.
Rene Rivera not taking any chances.
And good for him.
Yeah.
Let the umpire take care of that. You pursue a play, whether you think it might have been a swing and a miss or a foul ball.
See Rivera telling him, I want this down. Not that far down. But that's another thing that you love watching Rene Rivera, when you get that good camera from center field and watch him pre-pitch. He called the pitch and then he was pointing, like out by the plate, like I want it out here. Bounce this thing for me. And they're encouraging those pitchers, working right along with them.
Out of play the other way. Yeah, that's one thing that we have seen out of Rivera. He hasn't hit the way that the Rays think he will, and he's certainly not satisfied with that. But he is with these pitchers every pitch of the way. This one for Cabrera. Sandoval is the first out. One away, base is empty. Let's check in with Todd Callis right now. Todd?
All right, Dwayne, it is a Web Wednesday. If fans have any questions, they can go to Twitter and with the hashtag AskRays, send their questions to @SunSportsRays or through email at sunsportsrays@gmail.com. Guys, first question. The Rays are ending 22 straight against the AL East and 25 of the first 28 this year. You've seen everybody in this division. How many wins do you think it will take to win the AL East in 2015?
Seems a fair question, and not nearly as many as it has taken in years past, it would seem. Alan Craig takes a strike. The Rays will play Texas at home starting tomorrow night. Then the Yankees come in for 4, and the Rays will have seen enough of the East for a while. And it would appear that if you win 90 games in this division, that might be enough. You might win it with fewer than that.
Yeah, I think that would be the benchmark, unless someone just goes on a ridiculous streak, which you just don't foresee happening. 90 wins is 18 games over 500. And so that may not seem like a lot. Well, you say, well, that's 3 wins over every month. But, okay, that's still 18 games over for the year. There's a lot of teams that aren't going to sniff 90 wins. Mm-hmm. And so you think in this division, everybody's played everybody the first month, and you've got New York sitting at 17-10 and Toronto at 13-15. Everybody's bunched up.
Strike 3 in the dirt, dug out and thrown out. Rivera to Loney. First strikeout tonight for Colomé.
This is the one thing that I do think with the Rays pitching, the way that it has set up, and these starters, now they've got a starting rotation that actually resembles a 5-man starting rotation with help coming on the way. You'll have Matt Moore maybe at some point in June. but the way that they can pitch, it gives them a chance to win every single night. So they will be capable of getting on some sort of a run if they can get their offense. Doesn't even have to be great. Just be middle of the road offense.
Base is empty. Brock Holt takes a strike. Well, let's take a look at where the Rays pitching stacks up. You see their starters first in ERA at 3.17. Our Toyota Trend first in opponent's lowest batting average. Walks and hits per innings pitched, topping that list. Colomé throws out Holt, and it's a 1-2-3 second. We go to the third. No score. All season long, Tires Plus donates $100 to the Pediatric Cancer Foundation for every Tampa Bay Rays home run televised on Sun Sports. Joey Butler got his first big league home run in the first game of this series, hitting one over the monster. Cabrera takes the first pitch, and it's low. That fastball from Masterson in the mid 80s, sometimes in the upper 80s. He used to highlight that performance with fastballs in the mid 90s.
Well, you imagine that arm angle with that kind of movement at 93, 94, but you're right, that's where he used to reside, and it was fastball slider only, and it still is. Very interesting choice here. Masterson, one of the few starting pitchers you'll ever see that's basically a two-pitch guy.
And he's behind Cabrera 3-1. Well, the question to a pitcher is, how do you survive as a starter with just two pitches?
You better be really nasty.
Lined into center, and Betts is there to catch this one.
You know, one of the greatest two-pitch starting pitchers had an opportunity to see him up close and personal was Randy Johnson, but it was also 6'10", 100 with a slider that was ridiculous. But even later in his career, he developed a split and used that as a changeup. But with Masterson, it's that fastball. He relies on getting balls to be hit on the ground because of the late movement, and then the slider, he will change. Oh, look at that.
A fair ball down the left field line. And Geyer's on his way to second with a stand-up double. He didn't wait around. He got a fastball and hit it right by the bag at third.
And Pablo Sandoval was pulled way in, thinking maybe Geyer early in the count may lay down a bunt. We've seen him do it before. Watch where Sandoval is. He has no time to react to this. Look at that, right on the cut. He can flop to his right. That was it. by him.
Well, the Rays have put a couple men on first in each of the first 2 innings, only to lose them on double plays. You counteract that by putting a guy at second on this double. Rivera, big swing and a miss on that first delivery.
And going back to that slider, what he will do, Dwayne, is change the shape and slope of that pitch and the speed. So he'll throw the slider hard, then sometimes he'll take it off, almost like using the breaking ball as a type of changeup.
So 2 variations of the slider gives him really what he hopes would be more than just 2 pitches.
What he hopes. I still, you would think that at some point, he would throw a changeup, especially to left-handed hitters. But right now it's fastball, breaking ball, and that's what he's going with.
And we've seen, like, that last slider is about 78 or 79. His fastball's been 86, somewhere in that neighborhood, and he just works with that. And Rivera is out on strikes. There's a fastball 87, 88.
That's that late movement, and that's why Masterson has such confidence in that pitch. The velocity, not like it used to be, but watch this dip right under the swing of Rivera.
Kevin Kiermaier takes a pitch down. Two and 0 now. Man at second base. So the Rays, for the first time, have a man in scoring position. 2-1 to Kiermaier. Forsythe would be next. Kiermaier can keep the inning going. He's ahead 3-1. Masterson originally got to the big leagues with the Red Sox in 2008. And he walks Kiermaier for the second time. And here's the breakout. When you look at lefty righty this year, left-handed batters hitting 270, righties only 194 off him. And last year, left-handed hitters batted 320 versus 239 for right-handers, and the slugging percentage 502 for lefties and 370 for right-handers. So he walks Kiermaier and now faces Logan Forsythe. That's a strike.
How about Kevin Kiermaier? Came into the ball game with 3 walks on the season. He's almost there, and we're an hour into the game.
Forsythe in here with 11 runs batted in. Down in the count, 0-2. 2 men aboard, 2 men out. Takes it upstairs. Good take. Well, you put Masterson out there. He's 6'6", and he's got a pretty good wingspan. And when he delivers that pitch, you don't know what's coming at you or from where it comes.
Yeah, he swings the front arm. Obviously his pitching arm he's got a low 3/4 way out to the side, and with that wingspan, a lot to look at.
Hey, a base hit past Sandoval. Geyer heads to the plate, throw not in time. Rays lead 1-0. Logan Forsythe comes through, shot it to the left of Sandoval and threw into left.
Now these are the opportunities that the Rays have not been taking advantage of. It cost him in last night's game, but tonight Logan Forsythe makes sure he gets the job done, and not that easy too. 2 strikes, that ball's down. He does hit the ground ball, but he hits it hard enough to get it by Sandoval, and Geyer running with 2 outs gets in.
Now here's James Loney. Loney, a ground ball, and it's grabbed by Pedroia. Throw to first. He robbed him of a base hit right there. Loney denied a single on the great play by Pedroia, and the Rays settle for 1 run, 2 hits, and leave 2. And as we go to the bottom of the 3rd, it's 1-0 Tampa Bay. But he was denied the RBI on this defensive work from Pedroia.
How about that? That ball high bounce on the dive and still able to glove it and make the throw. Cost James Loney a base hit, and the Rays another run.
Well, Pedroia had to move far to his left and then get airborne.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, usually ground ball you're diving for close to the ground. That's why they call it a ground ball, but spread.
Xander Bogaerts. Bogaerts, then the catcher Swihart, back around to the top of the order with Mookie Betts. This one lined into left center. That's going to go to the wall and kick back to Kiermaier. Bogaerts has a leadoff double, and the Red Sox come right back with a threat of Colomé.
You know, when Xander Bogaerts started his swing at this pitch, I thought, no chance. You're going to swing through it. You're going to pop it up. This ball's up, and he gets on top of it. With Colomé's velocity, for Bogaerts to be able to get on top of that pitch, that is impressive. Impressive bat speed.
His 3rd double of the year. There's Blake Swihart, the rookie catcher. And a good pick by Rivera, 1-0.
Well, you think about that ball down in the dirt, it was a fastball, so Rivera's not anticipating a ball down off the ground. Actually, I think that skipped off home plate. But if that gets by him or away from him, runner on third, nobody out.
Now 2-0. Red Sox without Christian Vasquez, their number 1 catcher, and Ryan Hannigan, their number 2 catcher. Line drive left center. Same spot. Bogarts will score. Swihart heads to second with a double, and the game is tied 1-1.
Well, it's the bottom of the Boston order that comes alive here in the 3rd inning. Bogarts got on top of the fastball, and then Swihart goes with that pitch down and away, much like David DeJesus. But he's able to get this one to the wall, and they trade places.
First extra base hit and the first run batted in for Swihart in the major leagues. It ties the game. He's now at second with nobody out. Here's the top of the order. Mookie Betts hit a fly ball to left his first time. And there is ball 1. Rivera with the visit out there. The first pitch to Betts was up. Betts hit home runs to left last night. One off a curveball from Smiley and one off a fastball from Frieri. And they chase that slider, hard slider. Late break down and away.
We've seen him use that pitch. That was 86, and we've seen it up at 92. So the ability to change the speed in the break for Colomé.
So Chop headed to short for Cabrera. Throw to first out there, and over to third goes Swihart. So the Red Sox have a man on third with one out and a tie game in the third. And Dustin Pedroia, who made the great play in the top of the inning, is the hitter now.
Yeah, and a good situational guy. So this is going to be a tough matchup here for Colomé. He's going to have to make nasty pitches because Pedroia and the Rays middle infield conceding this run.
Fly ball center field. Kiermaier's there to catch it. The tag at third. Swihart scores and Boston takes the lead 2-1.
Well, that's what you're talking about with Pedroia. You're just a good plan at the plate. And he knows, hey, listen, first pitch I get that's out over the plate with some elevation to it, I can try to get it to the outfield and guarantee we get this run in. And he wasted no time.
Well, here's David Ortiz. He reached on the error in the first inning. Pitch away. Alex Colomé idolized Pedro Martinez growing up and kept track of David Ortiz, both out of the Dominican Republic. Ortiz born in Santo Domingo, and so was Alex Colomé. And it's 2-0. So this, every big league start's important. This may be a little extra special for Colomé facing Ortiz in Boston. He's down 2-1 right now. That's a strike. And as difficult as it may be, you've got to put that out of your head. Facing guys that you idolized, it's his job now to get them out. 3-1. It's Mike Napoli on deck. That will run the count full. Fastball. Ortiz 39, Colome 26. To the left side. And Cabrera throws out Ortiz. Red Sox score 2 and lead 2-1. With the MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At bat up to the moment, at any moment, with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, and more. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet. Evan Longoria leading off. Takes a slider for ball 1. Longoria to Jesus, and then Butler. Close, moves him around. 2-0.
Almost added to his total. Only got Forsythe in this game.
It gives him 5 for the year. As we mentioned earlier, he does that a lot. Picks up the corner right here. And he took a little something off that slider. That's what you were talking about an inning ago. Different look. Different speed on the slider.
A lot of times, you know, that's what you want with the starting pitcher. You want to have at least 3 different velocity points. You know, with the fastball, the breaking ball, the changeup, whatever it is, you want to have a couple of options to be able to work with.
There's a drive back into deep left field. Is it high enough? It is gone. Home run for Evan Longoria. And this game is tied 2-2. Longoria hits his 2nd home run of the year. A line drive that got over the green monster and left.
Well, he had seen the breaking ball earlier in the count a couple of times, and then here he goes, and that just spun, and Evan, anticipating it, leans out and hammers it.
First home run for Evans since opening day. David DeJesus takes one away. 1 ball, no strikes. Now a shot to left center field again for DeJesus. He's headed to second base and will stop with a double. A single in that direction in the second inning, and now a double in the fourth.
We can go back through the story again if you'd like. Or you could just take a look at what David did. And this one was a little further up in the strike zone, and that's why instead of a single, this ball is drilled against the wall and a double.
Third double of the year for DeJesus, and here is Joey Butler. A comebacker to Masterson in the second, and that was the start of a double play. Two and 0. Two and 1. So the Rays try to take the lead. Home run from Longoria, double by DeJesus. Ground ball. Bogarts to his left, so the runner will move to third. DeJesus there. Butler's out short to first. Kevin Cash, the Rays manager, was with the Red Sox for the entire season in 2008, and in late April of 08 he was behind the plate and caught Justin Masterson's major league debut, and throughout the game he's calling fastball slider, and the thought was they'd like to get the changeup in play. He called the changeup 15 times, he said, that night, and got a pitch that apparently appeared to be a changeup. After Masterson was out of the game, he talked to him afterward, and he says, "Hey, because I don't have a changeup." Well, he had something that was called 15 times in that game.
He was trying.
Pitch blocked by the rookie catcher Swihart.
He probably just thrown a BP fastball.
Yeah,
if they want it, I'll
slow it down a little. How about that? And has never claimed in all the subsequent years to ever throw a changeup.
No.
Basically, as we talked earlier, two-pitch pitcher, a little more than that because he, as you pointed out, has a little variation off the slider, but that's it. He truly is a sinker slider guy. 2-1 to Cabrera. Ground ball right side. That'll be foul. DeJesus ready to race for the plate. But it's foul and the count squares.
Well, this is where Asdrubal Cabrera has to call on all of that experience and understand right here it's about putting the ball in play. Sure, you'd love to get a hit. But with 2 strikes, Masterson obviously wants to go for the strikeout. Cabrera's got to get himself a chance to get DeJesus in here by putting the ball in play.
And there's a full count.
No chance at that. The Boston Red Sox defense, as you saw, is in at the cut of the grass, anticipating a ball on the ground, which Masterson will give them more times than not.
It's popped up on the infield. Pedroia makes the catch, and that's a big out for Masterson. Cabrera cannot get DeJesus home.
No. You certainly didn't think it was going to be by pop-up. Asdrubal Cabrera understanding right there. He is not happy with the result of that at bat.
Well, Cabrera had a little success in limited time. I'll tell you, against Masterson, the Rays really miss the bats of a couple of guys on the DL. John Jaso has had great success against Masterson. 6 of 18 with 3 doubles and 2 home runs. And Desmond Jennings is 4 for 8 off him. 1-0 the count now to Brandon Guyer. So Guyer will try to get the job done with 2 outs now in the 4th. Three and 0. Guyer jumped on a first pitch fastball in the 3rd and doubled up the left field line. And Masterson behind him 3-0 with Rivera on deck. And Masterson really not wanting much of Guyer, so he walks him and kept everything well off the plate. And here's Rivera, against whom he had quick success in the 3rd.
Great opportunity for Rene Rivera to break out of it here. Kind of pitched around Guyer, and you got a chance here to make him pay for that.
He's due. He's 0 for his last 18.
I've had some offers broken in this series.
And it's time that he broke it, he's thinking. Inside.
Now that may have been a changeup, or at least a BP fastball at 81 miles an hour. That was something different.
2-0. Longoria homered to tie it. DeJesus doubled, moved to 3rd on a ground ball. He's there with 2 outs. And ball 3. Masterson trouble finding the strike zone here to Rivera. And there is ball 4. So 8 pitches, resulting in back-to-back walks to Guyer and Rivera. And a meeting on the mound. Rays fans, log on and caption this photo of Kevin Kiermaier. We'll take a look at all the submissions and pick the best caption to be featured in next Wednesday's Rays-Yankees game. Log on to foxsportsflorida.com/Rays caption to play.
I believe that ball by Kevin Kiermaier had already been caught, and he was just jumping up like that to pop it out of the glove and then throw it back in. You know how he'll church it up every now and then.
I get a little added momentum on that throw.
Yeah, that's why they put it in there, to kind of throw you. You think he's making the catch. The catch has already been made.
Well, the bases are loaded, and here's Kiermaier trying to do some damage with his bat. He takes a pitch inside. Rays got a run in the 3rd. The Red Sox 2 in their 3rd. Now the Rays a run in the 4th. And a 2-out opportunity. 2-0.
And he cannot find his release point, and that's something that a guy that has a pitching style like Justin Masterson will struggle with from time to time. The way that he flies open with that front side, that leads to a lot of issues with command.
There's a strike, and barely a strike.
Yep.
So 10 straight pitches out of the zone, and he gets this call.
Well, and all he's looking for right now is a strike, not even a quality strike. So Kiermaier better be ready to turn it loose.
And a tapper just foul. 2-2. Kiermaier has already walked twice tonight. And after getting ahead, the count is now even. Big pitch right here And it's fouled back. Kevin getting his first look at Masterson tonight. Fly ball center field. That's going to hang up for Betts. And the Rays leave him loaded. They score one to tie on the long one provided by Evan Longoria. He starts on the next 1,000 hits with a home run. We're tied 2-2. Game changer. Alex Colomé making the start. You can see in 7 prior starts an earned run average of 113 versus a 1080 through 2 relief appearances. So he obviously prefers starting and has, at least the last start and this one, shown the ability to run more than just the fastball and the slider out there. Here's Napoli taking a pitch outside. 1 ball, no strikes. That last start he made, his first one of the year, it was a nice mix of pitches, velocity, and command.
Yeah, he put it really all together. No walks, maybe the most impressive part of that line, because that has been something that has plagued him. The other thing that he's done is he's kept the ball in the ballpark and not given up the extra base hit. You know, in those 7 starts, he's given up 6 extra base hits in all that time, and that's what helps lead to a 1.13. You give up a hit, it's a single, and you can work around that.
2-1 on the foul ball back. Rays 3-2 against Boston so far this year. Taking 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox at the Trop. Winning the first game here at Fenway 5-1. Dropping last night's game 2-0. And tied 2-2 in the bottom of the 4th of game 3. That's just foul outside the bag.
Really slowed down that breaking ball. 78 miles an hour. It's like a curveball, but it's more of a slurve type of break. It just gets a little bit bigger, a little bit slower. We've seen the slider at 86 up to 89, 90. That fastball in the mid 90s. Expect something hard here.
Two. He got him, threw it by him. 94 right there on the fastball. One away in the bottom of the fourth inning. And once again, we'll hear from Todd.
All right, Dwayne, a Webb Wednesday and a rehab update as well. Nick Franklin getting a chance to DH tonight after playing second base yesterday, and he went 1 for 3 last night. Today, a couple of walks against Daniel Norris in the minor leagues. The next question on our Ask the Announcer Webb Wednesday is, considering how well the middle infielders have played so far this year for Kevin Cash, how does Nick Franklin fit in when he's healthy?
Here's Pablo Sandoval taking the first pitch strike. Well, after the rehab, he's going to have to work himself back into any rotation to get playing time, Franklin. Well, 2 strikes the count. I mean, the Rays figured to be versatile anyway. And right now, the 2 guys up the middle playing pretty good defense.
Yeah, well, Asdrubal Cabrera, the only shortstop in the big leagues that started at least 20 games, not made an error. His defense has been tremendous. So has Logan Forsythe, and he's one of your leading offensive threats.
Forsythe leads the team in runs batted in right now.
That's right. That's absolutely right. And he has had good at-bats, much more comfortable. He has taken full advantage of the increase in playing time, because originally it was going to be Forsythe and Franklin almost platooning at second base. Well, with Franklin being out, it's all Forsythe for the most part, and he's laid claim. I mean, how do you pull him out of the lineup? How do you pull him out of the defense? Absolutely he does. And he's showing that. So that will be very interesting on how they dance around that.
2-2. Well, so often the Rays do such a great job of making players versatile. I mean, we've also seen Forsythe play first base. Well, I mean, that's part of solving that problem, versatility.
Well, and if you want to talk a straight platoon, Logan Forsythe.
Base hit for Sandoval.
Logan Forsythe is hitting .328 against right-handed pitching. So that adds to the layers. He's been playing great baseball for the Rays.
Sandoval at first with 1 away. Alan Craig is playing left field in the place of Hanley Ramirez, who has the sprained shoulder, colliding with the sidewall down toward the left field corner here in the very opening inning of this series. Sprained his left shoulder. The fastball is too high to Craig. Red Sox got back-to-back doubles to open the third, and that led to 2 runs. This one, Rivera couldn't find it, and down to second goes Sandoval after that ball popped away from him.
Well, that ball was way up and in, and Rivera, that was not the location. You see they want it away. This is up and in just off of Alan Craig and off the tip of the glove, and then trouble locating it, but Sandoval at that point was already headed towards second base.
It's going to be a wild pitch charge to Colomé. It's like aiming at the East Coast and landing on the West Coast right there with that pitch.
Well, and these catchers will tell you, you anticipate bad pitches. You don't anticipate them to be that bad, and that's why Rivera had trouble getting there.
Craig ahead in the count. And now Colomé is behind 3-0.
You know, these last two pitches, Alex Colomé has gotten lazy with his arm speed. You know, we talk about the changeup, the off-speed pitches. You got to let that hand work out in front and continue to keep good arm speed. The last two, he's gotten lazy with it, slowed it up, and these pitches have sailed on him. And that's what Rivera sees. Just kind of babied that pitch in there. 84 miles an hour, missed badly again. Rivera said, okay, that's enough. And that's, you know, it's nice to have that catcher, that veteran catcher that can pick something out and go out there and try to get a pitcher back on track.
He has a hitter up there, and Craig was trying to get himself back on track. There's an opportunity to get a few at bats now with Ramirez hurt. 3-1. Ground ball headed to short. Cabrera takes care of that on the play. Sandoval advances to third. He'll be there with 2 outs. Capture your favorite Mother's Day moment at Tropicana Field, with the Rays shared moments picture frame. Come out Sunday, May 10th. The Rays play the Rangers, and all women receive the picture frame while supplies last. For tickets, call 888-FAN-RAYS or visit RaysBaseball.com. Brock Holt can be a very tough out. 2 gone, man at third, tie game. And that's a ball. Holt out pitcher first, his first time. There's a strike. Good fastball from Colomé. Mets batting in the bottom of the 4th, leading the Orioles 2-0. And the Blue Jays batting in the bottom of the 5th, leading the Yankees 3-1. Here the Rays and the Red Sox are tied 2-2, bottom of the 4th. And strike 2 called to Holt.
The last 2 pitches he has buried on that outside corner. Trying to make a couple of pitches here to get out of this inning, preserve this tie ball game. Look at him just pop that right down and away. Can't do it much better.
And he just missed with the fastball. 2-2.
You get those 2 calls that he had, and you think, well, I'll just take it a little bit further off, and maybe Brock Holt goes after it. Good take by Brock. And a pitch just off.
He got him. Boy, that was a nice off-speed pitch. So Holt out on strikes. He saw some good fastballs. And then Colomé finished him with this one. Changeup. to you by your Tampa Bay area Mazda dealers. And in the wrap-up game of the series, the Rays and the Red Sox are tied 2-2, moving on to the 5th inning. Gorgeous night. Temperature in the upper 60s. And the number 2 hitter in the lineup for the Rays, Logan Forsythe, takes a strike. Logan drove in a run with a base hit back in the 3rd to take over the team leadership in runs batted in. 1-1 the count to him here as he faces Justin Masterson. Masterson made 22 pitches in the first 2 innings, 52 in the next 2. Pedroia is after this pop-up. 1 out.
Yeah, so to sum up the question, you've got the team leader at RBIs playing a tremendous second base, hitting almost 330 against righties, hitting lefties too.
Yeah, so who's going to play?
You know what? You got to start moving some guys around, like you said. Good problem to have.
James Loney. No ball, no strikes. Well, you know, just because a guy played 1 or 2 positions somewhere else when he comes to the Rays doesn't mean that those are the only positions he's going to play. Remember, Ben Zobrist came to this team as a minor league shortstop. There's a base hit line just out of the reach of Pedroia. And Loney, after being robbed of an RBI and a hit back in the 3rd by Pedroia, gets this one by him. Zobrist came here as a shortstop, wound up playing. He could have played anywhere, but was an outstanding outfielder as well.
And that's something that this coaching staff, they'll get a feel for that. You know, they'll highlight the guys that they think may be versatile enough and then start working them out at these positions, have them take balls off the bat during batting practice in the outfield, work on drills like that, and then make a decision.
Having a nice cut, and he fouls it back for a strike.
Because not everybody can do it, but you've got to be able to identify who may be able to, and then figure it out.
And, you know, I think that also goes into the thinking when the Rays make a deal and the players they want back. They get enough reports on some of these guys. They think they are potentially athletic enough and players who can be interchangeable in terms of positions. 1-1 the count to Evan Longoria. Bluff start by Loney and a look down by Swihart. 2-1 the count on Evan Longoria. The home run Evan hit in the 4th inning was his 2nd career home run off Masterson. And this one to the backstop, and that'll get Loney down to second base. So the Rays get the go-ahead run down to second.
Well, and you know, you wonder with a miss like that, the way that Masterson has really been struggling with his command the last couple of innings, if this just doesn't completely get away from him now. I mean, he missed home plate by feet, a lot of feet.
And he walks Longoria. And you could see him, fastball in around 82 or 83. And he was really careful about trying to find the zone.
He can't find the release point, therefore trouble finding the zone. Now taking a little bit off, almost aiming his pitches. But like I said, when you miss the strike zone by that much and your command's already been shaky, it may just unravel. And that's why you see the visit here.
Join Evan Longoria's Miles for Moffitt race team. Team Longo help raise money for life-saving research at Moffitt Cancer Center. Sign up and receive a free Team Longo t-shirt while supplies last. Miles for Moffitt, Race day is Saturday, May 9th. Learn more or sign up by visiting milesformoffett.com/Team Longo. It's ball one to David DeJesus. I'll tell you, with runners on base, you really like the feeling of having David DeJesus at the plate, the way he's been swinging the bat.
If there's a pitch close enough to allow him to do that. I mean, these misses, you can just see. I mean, I'm telling you, that miss that he on Evan Longoria, that down and away, you just wonder if he's going to find it now.
6 of 11 with men in scoring position. Ahead in the count, 2-0. Bounds it back. Masterson with 5 walks. He's hit a man and thrown a wild pitch. Edward Mojica up in the bullpen. And he finds the zone there. 2-2. Boy, that slider started wide and just didn't find the corner. DeJesus protecting, fouls it away. Forcing another pitch. Joey Butler waits on deck. There is ball 3. 1 out. Runners at first and second. Full count on DeJesus. Headed for the stands, back a third, forcing another pitch from Masterson. Three-two again, way wide. He missed by a big margin on ball 4 to load the bases.
I mean, if you're John Farrell, you've got to get him out of the ball game. I don't think Mojica is ready yet, but
they're checking.
Yeah,
right there.
That's exactly right. Things are unraveling.
Well, Joey Butler's up here with the bases loaded and 1 out.
Exactly the sense of urgency that you would think. Maybe he's already ready to go, and they're sticking with Masterson.
And there is ball 1. Butler, a couple of ground balls tonight, and 1 a double play ground ball back to the mound. And ball 2. Well, Masterson ran into some of this in the 4th inning, but managed to limit the damage to only 1 run. You can see right there, 48 strikes and 47 pitches out of the zone. And a soft liner into right for a base hit. Loney's going to score. They'll wave Longoria to the plate. He will score. DeJesus to third. And the Rays come up with 2 more runs to grab a 4-2 lead. Joey Butler driving in 2 with the soft line drive into right.
Well, you've got a pitcher struggling with command. He's given you base runner after base runner. You got to cash in. The Rays just did that. They're going to chase Masterson. Joey Butler going the other way.
So the Rays with 2 men on, 2 runs in, and a pitching change. By Geico. 15 minutes can save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. By Checkers. Get Checkers Authentic Philly Cheesesteak or try the new Meatball Sub. Pick yours, 2 for $5. And by Courtesy Toyota. You'll love what we do for you. Rays taking the lead with a couple of runs home in the 5th. It's 4-2. Edward Mujica, the new pitcher, to face Asdrubal Cabrera. And the pitch to the Rays shortstop is inside for a ball. The 11th appearance for Mujica. He comes in with a .511 earned run average. 1-1 on the year. Well, this pitch with some bite to it.
We had that slider down and in. Cabrera, they've been working him all around the strike zone in this series. We've seen the fastballs up and away. Now we're seeing the breaking ball down and in.
One ball, 2 strikes. Four and a third for Masterson. And now Mujica. And Cabrera is out on strikes. Well, the bottom fell out of that pitch.
Well, they just one after the other. The breaking ball down and in. That one finally finished him off. 84 miles an hour. It's there, then it's not. Exactly what Mujica needed with that runner, David DeJesus, down at third base.
There's Brandon Guyer. Guyer checks on a pitch out of the zone. 1-0. Guyer scored the first run for the Rays. He doubled with 1 out in the 3rd, scored on the base hit by Forsythe. There's a chopper down to 3rd. Sandoval goes up to get it and throws out Guyer. So the Rays come up with 2 runs in the 5th. Joey Butler's base hit, scoring Loney and Longoria. giving the Rays a 4-2 lead. A clean, crisp Coors Light. In the last 13 games, Kevin Cash's club 8-5. How about this, averaging 3.5 runs a game, and they win 8 of those games.
That's pitching. That's called pitching and defense. Catch the ball, don't hurt yourself with theirs, and throw the ball well. Most important, or actually I should say most impressive part of that whole cold hard facts or little thing you had going on right there was the fact that you were able to seamlessly work in raise up before going to the graphic. Such a company guy.
Just don't break your rhythm. Seems to work in life.
So, right.
2 strikes the count to Bogarts. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Well, the Rays pitching has been so good. You see the bullpen busy. Ramirez and Cedeno up. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning. Longoria after this one. He's going to call it. Cabrera hits the deck. And Longoria makes the catch and helps his teammate to his feet.
Lots of good teammate stuff going around here.
Yeah, what a guy.
Well, he chased him right off that. This ball, that wind must be swirling up there above the stadium. And you could see him just working. Interesting route. And then Cabrera, of course, he's going to get out of the way. So the least Evan could do is say, hey, buddy, need a hand?
I like our crew helping each other up.
Usually a little bit later than this.
Different circumstances. 1 strike the count to Swihart. Into the dirt did he go? Yes, he did on the appeal down to Brian Gorman. A 2-strike count. These 2 umpires on the corners, 2nd-generation umpires. Brian Gorman, the crew chief, down at 3rd. His father, Tom, was a major league umpire as well as a pitcher. Mike DeMuro at 1st. There's a cut and a miss. Swihart out on strikes. There's Brian Gorman. 23 years in the major leagues. And across the diamond, Mike DeMuro. His father Lou was an umpire back in the early 60s through the early 80s. Mookie Betts, he takes a strike. Fastball in there. Colomé up around 70 pitches. He made 60 in his first outing and was extremely good through 5. And that pitch in, and Betts just got a little piece of it to foul it. 2 strikes. Colomé facing Betts for the 3rd time. He's 0 for 2. Now 1 ball, 2 strikes. Two and 2.
Colomé has not been nearly as sharp as he was his last time out, but effective. Not an easy place to pitch. This lineup, we've seen them be able to put up runs in a hurry. Maybe not this series, but overall. And he just continues to battle, trying to get out of this 5th inning here unscathed.
Liner towards center. Kiermaier makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3 fifth for Colomé. Rays lead 4-2. Scoring on the Logan Forsythe 3rd inning single. Got their 2nd run when Evan Longoria connected for his 2nd home run of the year. That home run tied the game. And the base hit by Joey Butler in the 5th drove in Loney and Longoria. Put the Rays back out in front 4-2. And that's where they stand as we go to the 6th inning, and Rene Rivera leads off. He's out in front. Strike 1. He has struck out and has walked. Fly ball back into deep center. Betts will go back, and it's going to be over his head. Bounding against the wall, and Rivera is on his way to 2nd with a double. So he snaps that 0 for 18 with a booming double over Betts' head in center.
Well, the breaking ball that did not break, a cement mixer, And right there, Rene Rivera able to get underneath it with authority.
Rays put the leadoff man on for the third time tonight. And they get their leadoff man up here, Kevin Kiermaier, batting first in the lineup for Kevin Cash. Shortens and takes the pitch high. A couple of walks tonight for Kiermaier. Out on a fly ball to center in the fourth. Bunt third base side. Sandoval up and the throw to first. Safe the call. Over to third goes Rivera. And John Farrell's going to come out to challenge that one.
Yeah, and well, we'll see. He's waiting on the word. That was a very close play. That's a bunt they were anticipating. Sandoval makes the play. Kiermaier still, according to Mike DeMuro, beat this thing out. Let's take a look. May not. The one thing you got going for you is that the call was in the Rays' favor, but I don't know if that foot had come down yet, but they're going to have to get a clean look at it. Yeah, he's out.
So the Chrysler challenge being made by the Red Sox on that call at first. See how this goes for Boston. The Rays sitting on a perfect 0 for 11 this year in those situations.
Well, they may not have challenged it. I do not think this is going to go the Rays' way. I'm putting my dollar in on that it's going to be overturned.
Clear and convincing is what we're after.
I think that one shot that we had was pretty clear, and at least it convinced me.
Yeah, that's the area that Kevin Cash is having a little difficulty with. What's clear and convincing? He said, I don't quite have a handle on that yet. And this one challenged by John Farrell and the Red Sox. And so he's out at first. So the Red Sox challenge it.
Well, here's that look. Sandoval's throw into the glove of Pedroia right there. The foot was just coming down. It had already established itself in his glove. And that's the thing, too. You got to look. It's when the ball hits the back of the glove, not necessarily when the glove closes. And so that's what they take a look at.
So that's a sacrifice for Kiermaier. The call overturned. He's out. Infield up, and Logan Forsythe takes a strike. So Logan swinging a pretty good bat lately. Driving in a run in the third, leads the team with 12 runs batted in. And he's trying to get the man home from third with one out in the sixth. Ground ball, and Mojica. Look at the pickup by Mojica. And they're going to tag Rivera out. Forsythe back in at first.
Get out of here.
Are you kidding me with that pickup? Wow.
You can hardly blame Rivera. You want to see the ball through the middle. Could have been going on contact anyway. But regardless, come on.
All right, if a guy makes that play, you got to give it to him.
Yeah, he deserves this out right here.
Wow.
And I think Rene Rivera, obviously not going on contact, but seeing that ball saying, okay, that's through the middle. No, little trickeration.
Well, Mojica's going to go out on top after making that play. New pitcher coming. Show presented by your Gulf Coast Honda dealers. Rays are home. Marquee pitching matchup, Chris Archer against Nick Martinez of the Texas Rangers. And Orestes will break down Prince Fielder. The Texas Rangers come calling to open a 4-game series. The Yankees will follow. They'll be in for 4. Tommy Lane, the lefty, the new pitcher for Boston. He's on to face James Loney. The Rays now have Forsythe at first with 2 outs. And the first pitch is a strike to Loney. 31-year-old left-hander Tommy Lane. He was in 30 games last year for Boston. Crossfire with that delivery, and it's 1-1. The lefty is Cedeno. Geltz, the right-hander, busy in the Rays bullpen. Fly ball center field. Betts right there makes the catch. The Rays do not score after the leadoff double. They lead 4-2.
Wednesday, ask the announcer, and if you want to ask Dwayne or BA a question, you can tweet us your questions at Sun Sports Rays or email your questions to sunsportsrays@gmail.com. Two-parter, guys. Number one, a lot of people asking about Alex Cobb. Concern there, whether or not they'll see him this season. Part one. Part two, keeping in mind the Lightning are playing tonight, leading the Canadians 1-0 at the end of 2, trying to go up 3-0 in that series. Is BA growing a playoff beard? One of our viewers wants to know, guys.
Well, let's take the second question first. Playoff beard?
It is a playoff beard. It's a playoff beard, obviously right now for the Lightning, and then maybe we'll just keep it going all summer for the Rays.
I'll look forward to that.
So will I. I got to prove I can grow hair somewhere, Dwayne.
Well, Dustin Pedroia leads off as Alex Colomé's out here to at least start the 6th. Bullpen has been busy with the right-handed hitting Pedroia leading off. Then Ortiz, the lefty, swinger, followed by the right-handed bat of Napoli. Now Colomé has fallen behind Pedroia 2-0, and you certainly wouldn't be surprised to see the Rays try to piecemeal the 6th inning. Colomé just missed there.
Yeah, and you want Alex Colomé to get this right because this is his last hitter. We got David Ortiz coming up, exactly what you're talking about. The bullpen's hot. Alex has done his job.
That's a strike. 3-1 in regard to Alex Cobb. He has seen Dr. Andrews, and as to whether we're going to see him or not this year, no one really knows for sure right now. It's possible that he could still compete. Line drive into right. One hop in front of Geyer, and Pedroia leads off the inning with a single. And that's going to be it for Alex Colomé. 5 innings plus. Back in a moment. And a runner on as he departs, giving up 4 hits.
Well, it wasn't as clean as his last outing, but you know what? They're not all going to be like that. Sometimes you got to battle and keep your team in the game, give them a chance to win, and that's what Alex did here tonight, going into the 6th inning, giving up just the 2 earned runs before Kevin Cash comes out in favor of Xavier Cedeno. But another nice outing for Alex Colomé, and hopefully the Rays can hold on to this game and get him a win.
David Ortiz to face Cedeno, making his 5th appearance. Cedeno pitched the 7th inning of last night's game. And a big cut, strike 1.
Well, Cedeno, we've already seen in just a few outings he's had with the Rays, that ability to get a pretty good fastball down and away from the lefties. We've seen a good sweeping breaking ball, a guy that can be more than serviceable in these types of situations.
Pedroia, the runner at first. Ortiz has done the bulk of his damage against right-handed pitching this year. One and one. bullpen into the game here in the 6th. Let's take a look at that last pitch.
If it was Paul Ortiz, it'd be 0-2.
Look at that.
Well, like I said. Oh, again. That check swing awfully close.
So it's 2-1. Little tap. Plays it first. So Pedroia moves to second. Cedeno gets Ortiz. Cabrera made that play. Pitching change coming again. Players who best represent the history of the Rays and who are the 4 greatest living Major League Baseball players. Go to MLB.com/franchise4 to cast your ballots. Winners revealed during the All-Star Game, July 14th on Fox. Steve Geltz on to face Mike Napoli. Cedeno got his man Ortiz on the tap. Pedroia is on second. Geltz starts Napoli with a strike, a fastball. Geltz worked an inning Sunday against Baltimore. Blocked by Rivera. Now 1-1. Yankees hitting in the 8th, and Toronto trailing the Blue Jays 4-1. Mets have opened a 5-1 lead in the bottom of the 6th against the Orioles. Mets continue to hit in the bottom of the 6th. Headed to the shortstop. Plays it first. Over to third goes Pedroia. And Napoli is the second out.
There was that split second by Asdrubal Cabrera where he thought, should I? Okay, I'll take the out. The smart play. But with Dustin Pedroia crossing right in front of him, heading towards third base, there was the thought.
And you can see his head look that way.
Oh, yeah. He's thinking, could I do it? Maybe I could. Game on the line. Okay.
Yeah. Just about the time the throw would get close, it would be right behind Pedroia. Then it could get complicated, so he took the out at first.
And then you trust your pitcher here to get one more out, and that's it.
Well, the Rays are going to talk this over before they pitch to Pablo Sandoval, who singled in the fourth. And we get 1 for 2 tonight. You know, back on the Cobb situation, really too early to speculate as to what's going to happen in regard to surgery or non-surgery. There's that platelet-rich plasma injection that actually helps speed the healing, even with a torn ligament. And so that's also part of the picture right now. And we'll see. It's going to be over the next few days before we get a clearer picture of what they're thinking.
You're probably going to try to get some of that inflammation out of there.
Sandoval lines it to center, caught by Kiermaier. So the leadoff single by Pedroia, the Red Sox leave a man. Red Sox 4-2. Tonight's great moment in MLB history presented by Geico. It was on this day in 1915 over at the Polo Grounds in New York. Red Sox rookie pitcher Babe Ruth collects 3 hits, including his first career home run.
And he threw 12 in the third innings. I think Polo Grounds is code for Billy's house down the street.
Hey, the Polo Grounds had, those short fences right down the lines. Deep to center, but guy could get a pop-up and hit a home run.
I was thinking more of the 12 in the third innings he pitched the same day.
Well, I'm just thinking, you pitch that many scoreless innings, deep into a game, wind up losing, but, you pitch that deep, a pop-up could complicate a pitcher's day there.
Listen, the baseball historians are up in arms right now, but that's a line from a backyard game amongst friends. 12 in the third innings, 3 for 5 with a homer.
All after you now. All after you.
Someone got a hold of a drop ball and drove it out.
2-2 here to Evan Longoria against Tommy Lane. Steven Souza Jr. is on deck. He was getting a day off, but apparently will hit for DeJesus.
In all seriousness, though, that's the one part of the Babe Ruth legacy that gets lost because of all the home runs.
What a great pitcher he was.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that when he was popping home runs, he would out-homer the league.
Yes, absolutely.
That's what's ridiculous.
There's ball 4 to Longoria. It was a seismic shift in the nature of the game when he came along. The guys would hit a handful of home runs, and they were known as power hitters. I literally mean 5, 6. If you had 10 home runs, boy, you were a strong man.
By the way, I sent the picture to my dad, and it took him 3 guesses to get it.
You did?
I did 3 guesses.
Good for you.
He went off the reservation with the first one.
Yeah.
The second one was a little bit better, but then the third one he nailed.
Really?
There you go. Even dropped the town of Commerce.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
He was a big Mickey Mantle fan.
Huge Mickey Mantle fan.
Yeah.
And that picture of you out in front of his house, very impressive.
I had a chance to visit it this winter, which was making good use of the off season. We'll visit to Commerce, Oklahoma, and stopping by Mickey Mantle's house.
Just for some off-season inspiration.
Mm-hmm. Steven Souza Jr. here pinch hitting, and another toss to first. Evan Longoria, the runner at first, drawing the leadoff walk. Rays got 4 runs off Masterson in 4 1/3. Mojica came on with a couple men on and left him on, and now Lane.
He didn't like those
moves to first. I'm wondering if he was just buying time. Here comes John Farrell out. That's exactly what he was doing. Just made a couple leisurely moves over there, and with Souza up here, they're going to change pitchers. So, who else did he guess? Grow Financial. Don't go through life, grow through life with Grow Financial Federal Credit Union. By Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. When cancer strikes, strike back with CyberKnife. Available exclusively at Tampa Bay Radiation Oncology. By Kubota. To find a participating dealer, go to FloridaKubotaDealers.com. And by your Gold Coast Honda dealers. Rays lead 4-2. They've out-hit Boston 8-4, and they've put the leadoff man aboard in the 7th inning. Bringing on this pitching change. Tommy Lane departs in favor of Chunichi Tozawa on for the 14th time.
2.19 earned run average and 12 1/3 innings of work. Steven Souza Jr. going to stay in this ball game and try to, as the Rays try to piece something together here late, expand this lead.
He takes a big rip and fouls it back. Strike one. Souza had a couple hits in the game last night. He went 2 for 4. He was on base 4 times in the game Monday. Hit by a pitch. He drew a walk, then had a single and a double. That's a good pitch. Breaking ball, the curve in for strike 2. Way upstairs. When we saw Chinichi in the game here on Monday, he really had some difficulty getting the ball down. He was up a lot.
That body rushing towards home plate. Blake Swihart, he asked for that pitch up, but didn't want it that far up.
2-2. It's Joey Butler on deck. And again with the breaking stuff, and it's down 3-2.
And that was a good take by Steven Souza Jr. He followed that ball all the way in. You could see, that quick decision that he's got to make, and a pitch that a lot of guys would swing at. Looked good out of the hand. Good take.
Runner goes. A foul ball right back. He got a fastball that time. Rays had Longoria moving. Take a look at that pitch.
Boy, belt middle.
Tazawa, the 4th pitcher for Boston. And that misses inside. 2 men on now.
Boy, how many walks is that tonight from Boston pitching? 7?
8 now. 8, yep. 6 by Masterson, 1 by Lane, 1 by Tazawa.
Yeah, and here coming back to back. So Rays opportunity here to take advantage. A couple of free passes to start the 7th.
Joey Butler drove in 2 runs with a base hit in the 5th. He is 1 for 3. 1-0. Longoria and Souza have walked. There's a liner into left, and it's going to be caught by Craig. A sinking liner, and he scrambled to get there in time.
Boy, that play right there by Alan Craig may have saved Boston's chances in this game, because if that is able to squirt by him, the Rays are still running. This is a bullet by Butler.
And not an easy play made by Craig in left to corral that sinking line drive. Well, it says Drupal Cabrera. It's been a frustrating night for Cabrera tonight at the plate. Strike one. He's lined to center, popped to second base. When the Rays had a man at third and one out in the fourth. Struck out with a couple men on in the fifth inning. 2 men on here in the seventh. Takes strike two.
A good split finger there by Tazawa. Kind of froze Cabrera.
A ball, 2 strikes. Blocked by Swihart. 2-2. Swihart heads to the mound. Rays will be heading home with the Texas Rangers coming in. We'll be with you at 6:30. Chris Archer on the hill against Nick Martinez. First of a 4-game series against the Texas Rangers. Into the dirt. That ball bounced, ricocheted back out toward the mound. Full count, and the runners remain at first and second.
Well, this is why you put the puck on the net, Dwayne, because you make the save here, but then you pop the rebound right back in. That came all the way back out to Tazawa. No move up yet.
Well, you saw the young catcher do everything he could to get his body in front of that pitch in the dirt, and it rebounded off the chest protector. Look out! Geyer. That got Geyer as he waited on deck.
With a fastball, Cabrera was anticipating something else, and so the swing was so late. You're not anticipating that if you're Brandon Geyer. I'll tell you that much.
It was a scary moment. It appears to be all right, and thank goodness. That's the same thing for fans sitting in the stands that close. Heads up. 3-2 popped up on the infield fly, caught by Pedroia. So 2 outs with 2 men still at first and second. And Brandon Geyer, well, Geyer with a double and a walk tonight. And happy to still feel good enough to hit after that foul ball by Cabrera. Hitting Geyer while he was waiting on deck. Fouled that fastball, trying to square up that 95-mile-per-hour fastball from Tazawa. Geyer fouls it, and he's down in the count. Rays scored a run in the third, a run in the fourth, 2 runs in the fifth. They left 2 men on base in the third, left the bases loaded in the fourth, 2 men on in the fifth, left another man on in the sixth, and they have 2 men aboard with 2 outs in the seventh.
Had 17 base runners here tonight.
Ground ball to short. Bogarts to second with a force, and the Rays, after putting the first 2 men on, lead 2 and lead 4-2. Monster dealers. We're at Fenway Park in Boston, middle of the 7th inning. Rays leading 4-2. They've had some opportunities. They've stranded 10 men, and they're 2 for 13 with men in scoring position through the first 7 innings tonight. Relying on good pitching, scoring 4 times. Colomé worked 5+, gave up 2 runs. Cedeno, a third of an inning. Geltz got 2/3 under his belt in the 6th and faces Alan Craig to open the 7th. There is ball 1. Ross, the left-hander, up in the bullpen for Boston. And a strike call. Yankees batting in the top of the 9th inning in Toronto, down 5-1 in that game. It's 1-2.
Well, and right here, Steve Geltz, if he wants to take that fastball up another inch or 2, he can pick this strikeout up on Craig right now. If that's what, see if that's what he's thinking.
Really just missed off the corner.
Well, we've seen his fastball tonight, 93, 94. The one that was kind of up, top of the strike zone, 92, got the awkward swing by Craig. So you're thinking, you know what, take it up another inch and give me that good 93, 94, and the AB's over.
Close, and the count goes to 3-2.
Very close.
One for that percentage pitch down and away to the right-handed hitter. Twice he has missed, and this time a foul ball. Just a piece of it.
And the only reason you're thinking elevated is because did you see how long that swing by Alan Craig was? Watch how long that gets. You can beat that over the top.
Craig leading off. Brock Holt next, then Xander Bogaerts. And the pitch fouled. It's Holt on deck. Baltimore batting in the top of the 8th in New York, trailing the Mets 5-1. And ball 4. Craig lays off the slider, and the leadoff man is on for the second straight inning for Boston.
You got to tip your hat to Alan Craig, falling down in the count and taking some close pitches. You see that cluster of pitches down and away that he was able to lay off of and work that walk.
Here's Brock Holt. Shot foul. Look out. Everybody's scrambling down there to get out of the way. Kevin Jepson up in the bullpen for the Rays. Ground ball back to the mound. Out at second and safe at first, the call.
Well, Steve Geltz was very deliberate in getting that ball out to second base because he had to wait for Asdrubal Cabrera to get to the bag. And that allowed Brock Holt to get down the first base line and beat it out. Nobody's fault, really. You just got to wait for your guy to get there. Wait. Say that extra little step to get it to Cabrera. And then Brock Holt's just hustling.
Yeah, that's one thing we've all come to expect with Holt. That's the way he plays the game. So he's safe at first with one out. Xander Bogaerts he's out in front, swinging over the slider. Strike one. Two. Oh, 2 the count on Bogaerts. Back in. Blue Jays have beaten the Yankees 5-1. Mark Burley got the win. He's 4-2, and CC Sabathia took the loss. He's 0-5. 5-1 Blue Jays.
Wow. 0-5.
And Chris Colabello, who just rejoined the Blue Jays, had a big night.
Chris Colabello was Mr. April last year for the Twins. Just going off at the beginning of the season.
What do you have? How many hits tonight? 4?
4 hits. First time in his career. Get recalled and throw out a 4-hit night.
1-2 lined into right. Geyer's there to catch it. So 2 outs. Holt back to first. The Yankees dropped their game. Russell Martin had another home run for the Blue Jays, his 7th now.
Starting to heat up.
After that slow start at the plate, 7 home runs for Martin. Blake Swihart. Snap throw to first, and it gets away from Loney. That's going to move Holt up to second base. Pitch to Swihart was a strike. The throw to Loney was not.
Now the Rays are very aggressive as a team. Rene Rivera aggressive behind the plate. We see him trying to throw behind guys all the time, but you do it enough and eventually you're going to have a mistake. And this was just a ball that was wide of the target. James Loney makes a dive for it, can't come up with it. Brock Holt able to scamper into scoring position.
Holt's the runner at second. Swihart the hitter. 1-1 to count. Now 2-1. That pitch in the dirt. Word from the Lightning. They have just beaten Montreal 2-1, scored with a second left. Tyler Johnson scored the winner. They go up 3-0. Stay tuned to Sun Sports for Lightning Live immediately following Rays Live, the postgame. Lightning Live featuring extensive coverage of Game 3 of the Stanley Cup playoff second round. And the Lightning win again. 2-2 now on Swihart.
I want to board somebody right now.
Cut and a miss. That takes care of Swihart and the Boston Red Sox. So Geltz strikes out Swihart, and we are heading into the 8th with the Rays up 4-2. Tonight's game summary brought to you by Gold and Diamond Source. Rays with single markers in the third and fourth. Boston got 2 in the third, and the Rays took the lead with a 2-run fifth. Evan Longoria hitting a solo home run for the Rays in the fourth, and Joey Butler with a 2-run single in the fifth inning, making the difference in the game to this point. We go to the eighth. Robbie Ross Jr. makes his 12th appearance on the hill for the Red Sox, with Rene Rivera to lead off, then Kiermaier and Forsythe. Outside, curveball that refused to bite.
To put it mildly.
It's fouled back.
The Boston pitching across the board has had trouble being in the strike zone consistently tonight, and it started with Justin Masterson with 6 walks. Some of the misses very bad.
Broken bat and a popper backpedaling as Bogarts, a shortstop. In shallow left, he handles that one. So much for that bat. He broke an 0 for 18 streak with a double in the 6th, and then breaks that bat in the 8th. Well, it had a double in it. So that bat is 1 for 2 and out.
Use them all up. Get a new one. Pick out a winner.
There's Kevin Kiermaier. There's the strike. Kiermaier walked his first 2 trips up there, officially 0 for 1. Got credit for a sacrifice in the 6th and a fly ball to center in the 4th inning. And out on strikes in the 8th. Saturday MLB on Fox Sports 1 returns with a doubleheader of divisional rivalries, beginning with the Royals taking on the Tigers. Then the Braves square off against the Nationals. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. Eastern on your home for baseball every Saturday, Fox Sports 1, and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Logan Forsythe. There's a strike.
Robbie Ross, sneaky with the fastball. 92, 93, that one that he climbed the ladder on with Kiermaier, very good. Kind of short arms that ball in there.
1-1, pitch in the dirt. In the 8th, with the Rays leading 4-2. Close off the plate, 2-1. Orioles batting in the top of the 9th, trailing the Mets 5-1. Off the plate wide. 3 balls and a strike. It's James Loney on deck. High pop fly headed into center. Betts makes the grab. We're headed into the bottom half of the 8th. Rays 4, Boston 2.
Announcer, our next question on this always entertaining night is this: will the Rays steal more bases this year than they did last year? Are they going to be more aggressive on the bases, guys?
Well, I think we've already been more aggressive on the bases. We've seen the Rays start runners, and I think they will. I think just the nature of this offense is more aggressive than what we've seen over the last year or so out of Rays offenses. Speaking of offenses.
Offenses?
Kevin Jepsen. We'll get back to that. Jepsen is pitcher number 4. Facing the top of the order, Mookie Betts. Ooh, first pitch a little close. So that straightens him up a bit.
Kevin Jepsen, who usually has really good command and control of his pitches, that one just a little bit off. Maybe it's something in the air tonight. Either way, that pitch will prove to be effective here against Betts, or it could.
Upstairs, mid-90s fastball from Jepsen.
The Rays have been able to piece this together to where they now have Jepsen, Boxberger for the 8th and the 9th with the 2-run lead. This is the position that they wanted to be in. Can they finish?
And a long one to left. Betts has done it again. Betts accounted for both Boston runs last night with home runs, and he's teed off here in the 8th to make it a 1-run game.
Well, he could narrow down his strike zone. He was up in the count, 2-0, and he jumped all over this offering by Kevin. Boy, such a short, quick, compact stroke, and powerful.
Now Pedroia, pitch is high. Well, Betts has been impressive. Every time the Rays play him, he does something that's impressive. And he's done it again tonight.
Well, he's hit safely in 8 of his last 9 games now. Really starting to heat up for this Boston offense. Showing power out of the leadoff spot.
Ground ball for the shortstop. So Cabrera throws out Pedroia. 1 gone in the 8th, with Ortiz approaching the plate. Ortiz 4 of 11 with a couple strikeouts and head-to-head matchups with Jepsen. One ball, no strikes, curveball. Fastball in the mid-90s and a hard curve. Featured by Jepsen. Missed with a fastball. It's 2-0. Ogando and Uehara up in the bullpen for Boston. That's a strike. 2-1. Big cut and a miss. Missed the fastball. 2-2.
Boy, hitters count. Fastball, here it comes. Big swing by Ortiz.
curve. He takes low. Full count. And it's ball 4. Ortiz walks. And it gets Napoli to the plate. Napoli tonight is 0 for 3 and 0 for 6 with 4 strikeouts against Jepson. Both formerly with the Angels. Strike 1. Alex Colomé started. Cedeno followed for a third of an inning. Geltz an inning and 2/3, and now it's in the hands of Kevin Jepson. That's strike 2.
A concerted effort here by Jepson to keep the ball down early on. See what this ball is, just low riding, 94 miles an hour. A lot of power at the plate.
And a curveball. Oh my goodness. Very close right there. Let's take another look at that one.
He locked up Mark Carlson. This is a great pitch.
Oh my. That is a perfect pitch.
Right there.
How about that one again?
Yeah.
How many strikes does he get?
Yeah, well, 5 apparently, because that was strike 4. Good pitch again, breaking ball. Right there.
Wow. So the count is now 0-4. And he's still hitting. A little tap. Foul ball. We're in the bottom of the 8th. Pablo Sandoval on deck. Three and 2. Line drive into left, and that's knocked down by Butler. Throw to second. It's not going to be in time. And the Red Sox have men at first and second.
Well, we saw Joey Butler make a great play out in left field earlier tonight on a line drive. This one, he just comes up a little bit short. This a rocket out here, and the dive, and ball never got into the glove. And you know what? Fortunate that that back arm was able to keep that ball underneath him, because that could have easily skipped by all the way to the monster. And at that point, you probably got runners on second and third.
So 2 men on. Ortiz will leave for a runner. Sandoval's going to be the hitter. And the pitch to Sandoval. Fastball outside.
You know, and Kevin Jepsen really, you know, he's a veteran. He's been in these situations before, but really important for him to maintain concentration, knowing that he had struck Mike Napoli out twice. And then he ends up getting a base hit.
It's too low. 2-0. Luis Jimenez, the runner at second. Two on, one out, 1-run game. 2-0 the count to Sandoval. Out of play. On the roof and out of the ballpark. Turning into a long inning for Jepsen. And it's 3-1. Robin Craig on deck. But we're going to recall him. There's Daniel Nava coming out. And ball 4. So the bases are loaded. Boxberger's taking off the jacket.
Well, and he hasn't even started throwing yet, so obviously this next little bit is on Kevin Jepsen. Jim Hickey's going to come out, try to get his reliever back in line right here.
Nava announced as the pinch hitter.
Well, he is out there. Couple of things, trying to settle down Kevin Jepsen and then giving him the quick scouting report, something that the Rays are so good at, piecing together these scouting reports, pitcher specific on Daniel Nava.
Well, you got to get these guys out, and in Jepsen's defense, he got Napoli out. Here's the sequence to Napoli.
And those pitches down being called, that was strike 3. This one even better.
And that's strike 4.
Yep.
I just don't know how you miss 2 in a row like that in a crucial situation. Bases loaded for Boston, 1 out. Nava, the pinch hitter. The count. And a strike is called. Get the curveball in. Ball down to first. They'll come home out there, so they get the force on the pinch runner Jimenez for the 2nd out. Bases still loaded now with 2 outs.
Boy, keep the ball down, and you got a good glove man down there in Loney who makes a nice throw on the run to Rene Rivera. This is the play right here. Cut down the tying run. Nice.
Loney's arm,
yeah,
a big part of that play as well. Great glove for sure. And a great arm out there.
And Rivera, nice job to go down and get that before it hits the dirt.
Now here's Brock Holt. Curveball too low. One ball, no strikes. And a strike call. Napoli at third, Sandoval at second, Nava at first. Ground ball to first. Loney will take it himself, and the Rays get out of the jam. They got one run. Jepsen had to get 5 strikes and 4 outs. He did it, and he holds the lead. And in the ninth, they'll have Loney, Longoria, and Souza Jr. due up. Daniel Nava stays in the game and plays left field after pinch hitting for Craig. And Alexi Ogando, who was in the game for an inning last night and very effective, makes his 12th appearance of the season here tonight.
What a job by Kevin Jepsen, being able to maintain composure and get out of that jam.
Boy, that was a tough spot for sure.
Boy, you think about that at bat to Napoli, which ended up with a base hit, then a walk. Bases are loaded, 1 out. Settled right in and got out of it.
Well, here's Loney taking the first pitch too low from Ogando.
And he was smart about it. If you're going to get the ball on the ground, why not roll it right over to James Loney? He made the nice throw, the nice play at home, and took it himself to end the inning.
Yeah, we've seen Loney make those quick, strong throws from first down to second to start a double play, when most first basemen won't even attempt to go down there on some of those plays, and he made a nice quick throw to the plate to get the force.
Well, that's something that you tell kids all the time when you're teaching them the game of baseball. In those types of situations, where are you going to go if it comes to you? You know, for the middle infielders, if it's hit with moderate to, maybe a little bit more than that speed, you're going to try to turn two. Anything soft, you're not going to be able to. On the corners, you got to cut that run down at the plate. And so he wasted no time.
In the hole, backhanded by Bogaerts, and the throw will be in time. That's a nice play by the young shortstop.
Yeah, because he didn't try to airmail the throw. He went and used the ground to his advantage. He just turns and gets rid of this thing quickly and bounces it on purpose. This is a really nice play.
So one away here in the ninth. Evan Longoria, the hitter. He's been on 3 times. And the pitch driven deep to left. That one's going to get out of here. Home run out of Fenway Park. Longoria's second home run of the night. And the Rays are again up by 2.
And even more so than the home run off the breaking ball, that is the swing that you want to see all the time. Agando, a good fastball. Evan pulled the trigger quick. His hands were quick. Boom. That's that aggressive swing from Evan Longoria that strikes fear into the hearts of pitchers.
We had a home run opening day and waited all this time, and he has 2 tonight.
You'd find that in a parking lot somewhere. That cleared the monster by plenty.
Well, 2-0 the count on Souza Jr. Boy, after all that the Rays went through in the bottom of the 8th, to hold the lead, to get a home run from Longoria here in the 9th, a big lift to make it a 5-3 ball game.
Well, that's that definitive quick twitch swing that you want to see from Evan, because when he does that, the extra base hits start to come in droves.
And there's ball 4. Souza is aboard. The Rays have had a lot of base runners, as we mentioned, through 7. They were 2 for 13 with men in scoring position. Went down in order for the first time in the game in the 8th, and with 1 out in the 9th, get the run on Longoria's second home run of the night. Souza Jr. has walked, and here's Joey Butler. Butler drove in 2 runs with a single in the 5th. And was out on a line drive on a good catch by Craig in left. One ball, 1 strike. Ground ball toward the hole. Bogart starts the play with an out at second, safe at first. So Souza is forced. Tonight's high def highlight presented by H.H. Gregg. And for the 14th time in Evan Longoria's career, he has a multi-homer game, connecting in the 4th and again in the 9th. As Drupal Cabrera with a runner aboard, hits it on the ground. Pedroia with the pickup and the throw to first in time. Rays out of the 9th inning, but they pick up a run on 1 swing of the bat from Evan Longoria, and the Rays lead this game 5-3. to carry into the bottom of the 9th inning. Brad Boxberger takes over on the mound for the 12th time this year.
And not that he needs it, but that home run, a little more breathing room, and he's been awfully good. 6 out of 6 in the save department, 16 strikeouts and 10 in the 3rd innings. And how about that opponent average down here of 143?
Xander Bogaerts will lead off the bottom of the 9th for Boston. Blake Swihart, the catcher, due next, and then back around to Mookie Betts. And the first pitch is a strike call on the fastball. Boxberger, pitcher number 5 for Kevin Cash and Jim Hickey tonight. Ground ball headed toward the middle, backhanded by Forsythe, and there is no play. Bogaerts has his second hit. Boy, that was positioned perfectly for Bogaerts.
It really was. The Rays had their defense set up, and he just split the difference. It wouldn't have mattered one iota if Logan Forsythe was able to get this ball out of his glove clean. There was no chance of getting Bogaerts, but he just put it in a very difficult spot for the Rays defense to handle it.
Blake Swihart. Fouled away for a strike. Boxberger worked Friday in the Baltimore series. This one will get away. And up to second goes Bogaerts with a big turn.
Rene Rivera never got the glove over. That wasn't so much of a block as he tried to get that ball out in front with a backhand. And as the ball hit the ground off the glove, that's what caused the deflection. You see it right there. And that ball's long gone.
So Bogaerts is now in scoring position, and it takes away that ground ball force play double play possibility. There's a pop-up foul. Rivera away with the headgear, and he's got it for the out. So that's the big first out. One away with Bogaerts still at second. Mookie Betts on his way to the batter's box. 2 home runs his last 2 trips up last night, and a home run in the 8th inning tonight, giving him 1 for 4. Outside, breaking ball. And we've seen Boxberger start to incorporate that more to go with the fastball changeup combination.
And it doesn't look like a third pitch.
2-0.
Just another weapon to go along with the mid-90s fastball and the very good changeup.
Down the left side, well tagged, but well fouled. Two and one. Betts quick to the baseball.
The Rays have had about enough of Mookie Betts for a while. Get him out one last time here and get out of here. He's came alive last night, had a home run in his last at bat. last inning.
Rivera on his way to the mound. Coming up on Rays Live, the postgame presented by Checkers. We'll be along to anchor the coverage. Evan Longoria with a 2-home run night. We'll hear from the Kevin Cash press conference and Todd Callis contributing interviews from the clubhouse. Big cut and a miss on the fastball. Suddenly that mid-90s heat in there, and the count is 2-2.
Well, he just challenges him here, too, with Mookie Betts, the way that he's been swinging the bat. That's a gutsy pitch. But 95, he's able to get it up and over the swing. And now sets himself up to go in any direction. Change up, he can try to sweep the breaking ball. He can come with another heater. Everything at his disposal.
Upstairs. Full count. It's Pedroia on deck. Three-two pitch. And a long one to left, foul. Out in front of the off-speed pitch. Bogarts led off with the single. Moved up to second on the pitch that got away. And that is a fastball, ball 4. Borderline right there. Very close. And they have runners at first and second.
Yeah, you're figuring close enough to get Betts to swing. He doesn't. It's a smidge off.
2 on, 1 out for Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia drove in a run with a fly ball in the third. It's outside, fastball wide. 1-0.
Well, you have the green monster here in left field, so that fastball away, you want to make sure it's away. You don't want to let one leak back over the heart of the plate. So Brad Boxberger really trying to dart that thing to the outside corner, just pulling it off a hair.
There's a strike. Fastball makes the count 1-1. Normally Ortiz would be on deck, but they lifted him for the pinch runner Jimenez. And a topper foul. It's 1-2. Way up. 2-2.
Yeah, and Rene Rivera was looking for that thing down. That ball had some fuzz on it. Rivera's got to go up quick and late to corral it. Watch him. Wants it down. Whoa.
Bogarts at second, Betts at first. Got him! Swing and a miss. He struck him out with a fastball. Pedroia down on strikes for out number 2.
This one he does elevate right there. Middle of the plate up. not able to get on top.
The hitter is Luis Jimenez, who was claimed on waivers by the Red Sox from the Milwaukee Brewers on Sunday. And here he is hitting after pinch running for Ortiz in the 8th. Takes the changeup low to start the at bat. 1-0. That's a strike. 1-1. Two men on with 2 men out. And a little nubber. Rivera's throw to first, and the Rays win it on that little tap in front of the plate. The Rays hang on to win this game in the 9th, 5-3. No runs, a hit, and 2 men left on base for Boston. And the Rays win this series 2-1. Brad Boxberger closing it out. And here's another look at the final out on that little tap.
That was a breaking ball that stayed in and actually jammed Jimenez. And Rene Rivera, as we so often see, he's got good pop from behind the plate. He jumps out there, grabs it, makes the play, and the handshakes all around.
Took 3 hours and 22 minutes to play this game. And the Rays come away with a victory after winning game 1 of this series 5-1 and losing last night 2-0 in a great pitching matchup of Smiley and Porcello. They win it tonight 5-3. Alex Colomé will get his 2nd win of the year. Colomé now 2-0. Masterson, the losing pitcher, his record is 2-1 and a save for Boxberger, number 7 in as many attempts. Right now, Todd Callis standing by on the field with Evan Longoria.
Dwayne, Evan, 14th multi-homer game. I don't know if any were more satisfying than tonight based on the fact you hadn't hit one in a while.
Yeah, I mean, and the situation, too. You know, this is a big game. We talked about it yesterday, how getting out of here winning 2 out of 3 is huge. So, I mean, it all starts with Colomé. He goes out there and puts up a good start for us, and the bullpen came in and did a really good job keeping us there.
You mentioned you wanted 1,000 in a win, so 1,001, 1,002 in a better scenario. Did you really feel like you were in a good group tonight? Did you get pitches to hit? What was it?
I mean, the pitch that I hit out with against Ogando was a good pitch to hit. Masterson, the slider that I hit out was actually a pretty good pitch, and I mean, I just put the barrel on it. It's kind of got to just, with him, you're trying to see the ball up, and it was out over the plate, but I don't know, sometimes it works your way, sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Is it tough as much as you don't want to think about it? Because you've never gone that long without hitting a home run? Did it cross your mind at different times?
Yeah, I mean, I think at certain times it starts to wear on you. You start to think about it a little bit, and then it becomes tougher. You know, you got to get pitches to hit out. I mean, there's only a few guys that can really hit a pitcher's pitch out, and so you got to hope that the pitcher throws one over the plate, and then you put a good swing on it. And unfortunately, that happened tonight.
You wrap up 22 in a row against the East and 25 of the first 28. For you guys to leave town with a series win and now 2 games over 500, pretty important, especially with some young guys going through the East for the first time.
Yeah, it was. You know, with the Baltimore situation, it was a funny road trip for us. You know, having to go back home and then come here. So I thought everybody handled it well. You know, other than you know, the little slip up at home, which we were on the road, but. Again, it was different, and I thought we did a good job coming through this first stretch against the East.
All right, Evan, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, guys, Evan Longoria, multi-homer game. Back to you.
Yeah, big night for Evan and a victory for the Rays. It's a 5-3 final. So the Rays will head home after this one, taking 2 out of 3 from the Red Sox at Fenway. We'll be with you tomorrow night from Tropicana Field when the Rays open a 4-game series against the Texas Rangers. For Brian Anderson and the rest of our crew, Dwayne Stats, hope you've enjoyed the telecast. Rays Live, the postgame coming up next. We'll see you there.